Dr. Saeed is a distinguished expert with a wealth of experience in everything modern technology and AI. He has made significant contributions to those fields and to his country. He has demonstrated exceptional leadership and forward-thinking approach. His commitment to those causes has earned him a well-deserved reputation as a leader in this field, inspiring both peers and the next generation of professionals. Dr. Saeed, it's an honor to have you on this show. Thank you very much for being here.
It's a pleasure for me, Mark, to be with you in this interview. Swiss Quality Consulting. I'm really very excited, and thanks for inviting me to make this interview.
Thank you very much. Honestly, it's an honor to have you. I'm just so proud. I feel so privileged to have you here. Would you kindly start by telling our fans and our followers about yourself?
Great. So yeah, my name is Saeed Al-Bahri. I'm Dr. Saeed Al-Bahri. I have been born in the town of Al Ain in Abu Dhabi, within Abu Dhabi, vicinity of United Arab Emirates. I studied and grew up in the UAE until I finished my bachelor degree in electrical engineering from the UAE University in Al Ain. Throughout my life, I've been a sport athlete. I won the UAE champion in table tennis. This was in 1983. Before that, I was a football player, but I left football for the sake of not getting hurt, because I got hurt a couple of times in matches, and I decided to go to table tennis. After I graduated from the university with my bachelor's degree, I went to the US to do my master's and PhD. So I have a master in medical engineering from George Washington University, and I have a PhD in bioengineering from Drexel University. And after that, came back to UAE. I was teaching at the university for about 10 years, during which I did some consulting work with the industry. So I think if I say something, maybe I was lucky to get to expose to both, the academic world and the industry as well, not being theoretical and academian 100%, but I loved what I did actually, being, exposed to both the academic life and as well as the industry. So during my career, first of all, I should say that I am married. I have 9 kids, and you might probably ask yourself, someone with this number of children, how would you have the time, to focus and to do, the work I do? So
Indeed.
I'm always in fight. If I shall say, I don't know if my wife is listening to this conversation, but we usually get into this conversation about work-life balance. I try as much as possible to free myself for my children and for my family, because I am a firm believer about family. And no matter what we do in life, if you are good at this thing, but you are bad at family, I think this is not good. This is the other thing. To go from there, I worked in the government. I was the Director General of Emirates Identity Authority for quite some time. I founded and established the authority under the leadership of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, now the President of the UAE. At that time, he was the Chairman of the Board of Emirates Identity Authority, and his brother as well, His Highness Sheikh Saif bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who's the Minister of Interior, and at that time he was the Vice Chairman of Emirates Identity Authority. Going forward, I've done some work and the diplomatic corps. So after I retired from the government, I went into a diplomatic corps for a training. So I went to the UK, London School of Diplomacy, and then to the US, Fletcher School of Diplomacy in Boston, Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., And I've been an advisor to His Highness, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, for about 6 years, which I believe we've done a beautiful work for MOFA at that time. But yeah, I retired around 2017, and I decided to go back to where I started, being an academician, because I think, I mean, people like us, and I'm speaking about academians, they will always love their profession because there is nothing more satisfying than influencing people and then influencing students. And later on, down the life, you meet those people and they remind you of, being a students in your class, and you see them now, in a very high position. So that's really
I'm so
a very,
proud.
self-satisfying, for me as an academician. So
Absolutely.
I think maybe I want to say a few things. Yeah, I'm a member of the World Economic Forum in the future of the
Yes.
metaverse. Actually, we are meeting tomorrow for the next 3 days in Dubai. As of course, you know that probably also we're having now a GITEX global event is happening. We have around 70, 80,000 people, professionals in the city of Dubai.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm a visiting lecturer at the University of Oxford, and my colleague Ajit Joker online course about artificial intelligence. And also, occasionally I lecture at University of Cambridge in EdTech and education technology. So that is a brief about myself. I don't want to take the whole conversation speaking about myself, but we hope that we touch upon some of interesting things, that I have done in my life.
That's great. Thank you very much for this introduction. It's really amazing to hear about you and your journey. Now, tell me, please, Dr.
Yes.
Al-Zahiri, as a
Yeah.
pioneer in digital transformation in the UAE, you know that we, the Swiss Quality, we do digital transformation.
Right,
As a
right.
pioneer in digital transformation in the UAE, what are the key milestones that the country has achieved in embracing cutting-edge technology under your leadership?
Great, great. So I want to speak about a couple of a project which I have led
Mhm.
during my career in this area. One
Yes.
of which is, of course, developing the physical and digital identity system for the country. I was really privileged, to start this project around 2004. As I was advising a committee about the UAE national ID card system. Then I was, nominated by His Highness Sheikh Saif bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Minister of Interior, to be the Director General for Emirates ID, and I'm really proud of what we have achieved for the country in terms of developing the physical and digital identity solution for the UAE, which now has established let's say, the infrastructure, the digital identity infrastructure for all citizens and expats who live in the UAE to transact with the government. So we have a one unified ID card that is a smart based and with embedded chip in the card, and then we have, of course, later on, the project continued after I left the authority and developed the digital identity solution, which is now used by anyone who wants to, transact either with the government or with the private sector. So this is one thing. The other thing which I can reflect also is about my contribution to the e-government journey of the UAE. I was lucky in 2000, probably in 2002, again, through advising capacity to work with the Department of Tourism and Commerce Marketing in Dubai, and to develop, first of all, to modernize the infrastructure at the department, and of course, to develop e-government systems, since His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and the Prime Minister of the UAE, has announced the e-government initiative for the government of Dubai first, and then for the federal government later. So with that work, I'm really proud of developing, uh, um, let's say, the inspection and licensing hotel licensing system for the Emirates of Dubai, which is used until today. And it has transformed the work of the department tremendously in the way that, inspection is conducted. Maybe we'll speak about this later as we speak more about, about the impact of those projects. But I think these are maybe some of the initiatives which I have led throughout my career, and really make me proud of the achievements of what we have where we are today. For example, when it comes to the e-government, as per the last e-government survey of the United Nations, which has just came out recently, a few weeks back, UAE is number 11th in the world, and Dubai is the fifth city in the local online service index, which is basically speaking about online services.
Amazing, amazing indeed. Thank you very much. I love Dubai and I love the UAE, and I go
Sure.
there now and then. And I remember some time ago, everywhere people were talking blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. Now it's
Yes.
AI, AI, AI. The UAE
Right.
is really at the forefront of AI development globally, and you see events related to AI everywhere. Absolutely impressive.
Definitely.
How do
Definitely.
you see AI shaping not just the UAE's future, but also the broader Arab world in terms of ethics and innovation?
Good question, Mark. Okay. Yes. So if I, reflect on this, uh, when it comes to ethical innovation, UAE, this is, I believe, is within the DNA of our leadership, from the founding father of the UAE, His Highness Sheikh Zayed, peace be upon his soul, to the current president and to the government. The UAE always promote ethical and responsible development and use of technology. The UAE, if I shall say, immediately after it announced its AI strategy back in 2017, the government has appointed a minister for AI. Now, His Excellency Mr. Omar Al Ulama. Now he's a minister of AI and digital economy and remote work as well. Okay, so the UAE is promoting ethical or digital ethics and responsible innovation through international collaboration. For example, His Excellency the Ulama last year, or actually this year in February, at the World Government Summit, he inaugurated the Building Responsible AI Forum, which focus on not just only developing AI, but developing the technology in a responsible and ethical manner. And if you look also at the national AI program of the UAE, it has been called BRAIN. BRAIN means Building Responsible AI Nation,
Mhm.
BRAIN, Building Responsible AI Nation. And that's how we really focus on developing this technology, but also using this technology to make sure that people benefit from this technology. The UAE strives to establish itself as a leader in AI and emerging technology. In 2019, Dubai announced its AI ethics principles and guidelines to be implemented by AI developers and user agencies in Dubai. In 2022, the AI office has launched the AI ethics principles across the federal government. And in 2024, this year, the AI office also has launched, or the government has launched, the UAE Charter for the development and use of artificial intelligence, which position AI ethics and principles, as something centered around this. When we speak about the Arab region, I think Saudi Arabia is following, I think, on the same footprint as UAE. Saudi Arabia, or Sadaya, Saudi Arabia Digital AI Authority, has also launched the AI principles and guidelines last year. Not only that, but what I really love about Saudi Arabia also that they have launched this year, they have launched an international center for AI research and ethics. A center that is focused on AI research and ethics. And I think, reflecting on this, I think this stems from our religion as a Muslims that we need the technology is great to use the technology to help people and to assist us and to be an enabler for what and to augment our capability, but not to replace. And that is something important which I want to emphasize. AI is not about replacing us. AI is about augmenting our capability, but we need to develop it responsibly and ethically, and we need to ensure that society will reap the benefit of this technology. So if I reflect on this, I think this is the development which really makes UAE and maybe the Arab region now focus more on digital ethics and AI ethics.
That's great. Thank you very much. Thinking about projects you have done and projects that you're all working on today, I'm thinking of how things have changed. And my question to you here
Right,
is the project that you just mentioned, the Smart ID
right,
card, what
right.
were the biggest challenges you faced in that project? And how did this project transform the nation now, the UAE nation?
Um, all right. So it's really a good question, and a project of such nature, which is implemented across the country, definitely there will be challenges facing implementation of such project. One, I think the biggest challenge that we faced, and as I remember, this was way back in 2004 when we were preparing 2003, 2004. It took us about 2 years really to prepare for the project and to go do benchmarks with other countries such as Malaysia at that time. Malaysian ID were out, and then to look into also other countries. It is about uniting efforts and getting all the stakeholders a cooperation in this because this project spans the whole of the UAE. It is implemented across the 7 Emirates. It required a proper coordination and collaboration between the different ministries, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Health, Ministry and other stakeholders as well. So getting everyone involved and getting the consensus around the project because there were different directions and to communicate the project properly to the stakeholders and the outcome of the project. I think this was a big challenge, but how we resolve this challenge is by a strong leadership, and luckily that when we started this project, the chairman of the ID authority was currently the president of the UAE, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. At that time, he was the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, and his brother was the vice chairman, Sheikh Said bin Zayed, who was the Minister of Interior. So from day one, and I remember sitting with them on a table before we start the project. And Sheikh Mohammed said really something which really touched me. And he said, um, what stops me from sleeping at night? And he said, what is it, Your Highness? And he says, worrying about, day and night, how to make this country safe, how to make UAE safe. And this is one of the, I think, factors really which has as a result, as an outcome of course of enrolling the whole population in a national database and taking biometrics for the people, is we want to make sure that the project not just only deliver value in terms of identifying the people, whether physically or online, but also on securing the nation. So this was, I think, the first challenge. The second challenge is about change management. And I remember because people started to think that, oh, now the government wants to tap on our shoulders and look at what you're doing, the big brother concept. And this, I think this is until today still exists, maybe in the Western culture. And this is maybe why you don't see many countries. I don't know, maybe the story has changed now, but back then, we're talking about around 20 years back, especially in the West, there is this notion among the people mind that, oh, the government wants to watch us and the government wants to know, how what's with our transactions and so forth. It's not about that, but it's more about really streamlining processes, building an infrastructure, a secure infrastructure for identity management, being able to identify people whether physically or online. And we see that, we reap the benefit of the project now as it started to lay down the infrastructure for the digital identity management, and also facilitated the travel across the GCC, since other GCC countries as well started to implement the same project. So we now travel between GCC, between the countries in the GCC with the ID card. We don't need to carry the passport as we travel, across the GCC countries. So there were many benefits, I think, which we have achieved with this project. One of which, of course, is of course streamlining business processes, making sure that we identify the person correctly, if he's, whether it's a physical or virtually. And this infrastructure now is utilized by government and the private sector. Wherever you go, you will need probably to show your ID card, or to transact using your ID card, and you travel with the ID card. So I think these are, great benefits that the country has achieved, and it's amazing, the amount of time we save, the amount of paperwork that we used before, to go and to carry passport, to carry different documents. And I remember, and I reflect this on my experience after I graduated, after I finished high school, not high school, sorry, the university. You have to show, what they call it, a certificate of good conduct to go and work in any place. And to get that certificate of good conduct, you will need to go to the prison, literally to the prison, to fingerprint, take your fingerprints, match it against criminal records, and took about maybe 2 weeks to get that certificate that you are free from any, criminal activities. Today, this is done at the background, okay, because we have enrolled people, and whenever anyone asks for this certificate, he can just, with a click of a button, going to the service, asking, requesting the service, and, forwarding the certificate to whoever employer who wants to use this certificate. So it has, if I talk days and night about this, I think it's not going to be enough. But we have achieved a lot, by implementing the UAE national ID card system.
Absolutely amazing. Gosh, really. I'm listening and I'm really surprised. A senior leader who says, I couldn't sleep last night thinking about the security, how we could make this secure. Wow.
Right. And today, Abu Dhabi and the UAE is by far the most secure country, and we are lucky, and we pray to God that we are, because see, when you are secure and when you can leave your house not worrying about something is going to happen to your family or to your property, you can do many creative things.
Yes.
You focus on your work, you focus on other things, and this is what actually makes people come to the UAE. Other, of course, from tourism, but they find this country, I believe, is very secure.
It is definitely. I was there many times and I could bear witness to that. Tell me, please, talking about leadership, especially senior leadership and their vision for the country.
Right.
The United Arab Emirates has been consistently setting high benchmarks for technological advancement.
Right.
What role does the country's leadership and vision play in ensuring that the UAE remains ahead of global trends? I'll tell you where this comes from. A lot of people
Yeah,
think that this is something for
yeah,
the private sector to do. So
right,
tell me about the leadership that you know, the leadership in the UAE and its vision, and how
right.
actually it ensures that the UAE remains really at the forefront of global trends.
Great question, Mark. I think we are lucky having a forward-looking leadership, and like I said, this is in the DNA of our leaders. Sitting when I wrote the book Digital Nations, how the UAE became a leader in technological innovation, and I did interviews with people, very high senior people in the country. One things which came across in many of these interviews is that, and Muhammad Al-Abbar has said it, the chairman of Emaar. Emaar is the largest, probably
Yes.
property, real estate company in Dubai,
Yes.
which has built, all these skyscrapers, most of
Yes.
these skyscrapers, if I shall say, in the UAE. He said that our leadership continue to inspire us and to push our boundaries. We take the goals and the ambitions of the leadership as a personal quest to achieve. And I think this is what distinguishes the UAE leaders from probably from other things, is that they work with the love, to achieve high ambitious goals, so that we achieve the vision that our leaders has set for the country. I think another thing is the exponential mindset which our leaders has really demonstrated, and I'm actually now teaching this to the new generation, is to have this 10x thinking. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, when he launched the 10X initiatives way back, I think in 2017, 2018, in the World Government Summit, he said that I want Dubai to achieve in 1 year what other cities in the world will achieve in 10 years. So you can imagine how our leaders think when it comes to being on top, not just only technological innovation, but to upgrade and to uplift the country, to reach at a high stage, at a high level, to be really a leading thinking. So this is one thing. Of course, when the government has launched the UAE foresight strategy in 2016, 2017. Now futures thinking and futures foresight became embedded in the government work. You see a lot of reports if you follow Dubai Future Foundation, you go to their website. If you come to our Center for Future Studies website, you will see a lot of reports about how the country is foreseeing the future, the long-term future, that 20 years, 30 years. And that's why we had, the UAE Centennial Plan back in 2021, when we celebrated the achievement of the country in the past 50 years. The leadership of the country has came up with a new, broader vision for the UAE for the next 50 years, which, one of those objectives is to have, within the next 50 years, to have the best education system in the world. So we set high target, and then people work to achieve those. Even if you are not going to achieve the first, but at least you will be, maybe second, third. Like, for example, when I visited actually Finland, this was back in 2019. Finland in 2019 celebrated their 100th anniversary, okay, for the country of Finland. Finland in 2019, they are number three, I think, or number fourth when it comes to education, the number fourth, the educational system in the world. So if Finland has achieved this in 100 years, I think that UAE in the next 50 years would achieve these visions. So yeah, I think these are the future thinking, the 10x mindset, the exponential thinking is what really is instilled in our generation. And, through my teaching and foresight, I always try to convey this to the future generation, is that we need to think beyond today. Yes, we work with the strategies, current strategies for the next 3 years, but also we think, along the way. And when His Highness the President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, when this was back then again at the World Government Summit in 2000, I believe 18 or 2017, he said, let's celebrate shipping the last barrel of oil, in the next 50 years. Let's celebrate. We are not going to be scared that we are shipping, that we are run out of oil, but he said it in a way that we need to diversify our economy. And today, UAE is a leader also on renewable energy. And this is, I think, this vision that we carry forward, is that we know that we are not going to depend on fossil fuel. And actually, if we can, the whole world can come with alternatives, before 2050, that would be great. But I think this is the thinking, among the UAE leadership.
That's amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that. You've started a bit earlier talking about Sadia and about ethics and AI in the UAE, and I would like to delve a little bit more into this. From your experience working on global platforms like the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, how does the UAE's approach to digital ethics and to AI compare to other leading nations?
A good question. Again, I will highlight a couple of important elements here. First is the UAE approach, which emphasizes international collaboration. Really, if you see, UAE is trying to be a key player in international collaboration. Our recent visit of the President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, to the US, meeting with President Biden, and looking at the outcome of that meeting, Sheikh Mohammed has opened the subject of how we make AI equitable and inclusive for the whole world. So there are initiatives, I think, between the two countries now, looking into, for example, bringing AI to the vulnerable nations, and especially in Africa and other wards of the world. And this is one major challenge which is facing us, and we're going to talk about it maybe tomorrow and the next 3 days at the World Economic Forum, is the digital divide. AI is making countries, let's say the advanced countries more advanced, and, the emerging, or let's say the emerging countries, way back. So how we can make AI equitable and inclusive is one thing, and UAE is working and, stressing the fact of international collaboration. The local initiatives which the country has established in terms of course, appointing an AI minister, in terms of establishing an AI council for AI and digital economy, to oversee AI implementation and make sure that AI is implemented ethically and responsibly. Building talents, for example. Now we started offering courses and certification in AI ethics as part of Mohammed bin Rashid School of Governments, in collaboration with the IEEE. They provide the AI certified AI ethics certification. They run the first cohort, and now we're having the second cohort. I had to take a certification with the AI facilitator, or let's say AI ethics facilitation course with the Open Data Institute back in 2022, and get certification from the Open Data Institute in the UK. So building talents in AI ethics and teaching AI ethics, I think, is something which the country is really trying to achieve as it tries to be a leader in this area. The last thing, I think, maybe before the last thing, couple of things which has happened just recently, just actually this week. The UAE has approved its position on AI policy with the 5 principles, touching on this AI policy, which reinforces the UAE global leadership in AI, to ensure that technological advancement go hand in hand with improving the well-being of society. So the policy focuses on well-being, and this is AI policy, focuses on sustainability, because we know now that AI is not sustainable. And I was really surprised when I read the reports that, even if we build today whatever what we try to develop, not to build, but whatever we try to supply in terms of renewable energy to the data centers that will be established from now to 2030, we will not be able to sustainably to sustainably power the AI. It's going to consume a huge amount of energy. And especially when we think now about the latest announcement from Sam Altman, when he said that he wants to build mega data centers which consume around what each one is about 5 gigawatts. Imagine that would require a nuclear reactor by itself to power that data center. And we've seen now, of course, what's happening in the US, that they want to turn, old, decommissioned nuclear facilities, to bring it back again to the grid to power, to power AI. So this is one thing which the country is also trying to advance. And of course, the UAE position on AI policy is something I think is very positive. It shows the rest of the world that we are serious about developing this technology ethically and sustainably as well. Maybe the last but not least is of course, when it comes to policy and regulation, maybe this is one thing which UAE is also trying to push. If we go back, to around the 2000, the UAE has launched the what you call it, the cybercrime law in 2006, which was amended in 2012, and again amended a third time in 2018. And it's always about, make sure that, we use technology responsibly. We make sure that, we address the ethics, and we address, violations. If someone violated, the use of technology or in a way or another, we at least have a law to penalize and to hold those people accountable. So when it comes to accountability, I think UAE is also trying to push that forward. So I think these, 4 principles, like, international collaboration, local initiatives, building talents, and AI ethics, and of course, policy and regulation is what probably characterize or what differentiate UAE, let's say, from the rest, and shows that UAE is really very serious in terms of and working with other countries globally. Our minister is in the advisory committee of the UN Secretary General Advisory Board, with other, with other well-known people advising the United Nations of how, to probably find a governance structure for AI going forward.
That's absolutely amazing. Once again, I'd like to go back to your previous experience. So you've advised both public and private sectors.
Right.
Can you share maybe a story where your work directly contributed to a groundbreaking shift in one of those sectors, whatever you wish?
Great. So yeah, I will reflect back on my work with the Department of Tourism and Commerce Marketing in 2002, when His Highness Sheikh Mohammed has announced the e-government project. And like I said, we embarked on modernizing the internal processes and the systems, internal systems for the department. So, we said that we need to have a state-of-the-art inspection and licensing system. Imagine the story which used to happen before that, to just for hotel licensing to take around probably a month, for the inspectors to do the inspection and then to come back writing reports. If there are violations, go fix the violations, and then to issue the license for the hotel. Now this happens, literally within a couple of days. So I was really happy to lead this project, to work with the colleagues at the department for the inspection and licensing, and make sure that we have a state-of-the-art system, with when inspectors at that time used to carry, smart tablet, not maybe, the iPad where was at the early stage, or before the iPad, to carry smart devices with a checklist to go and do the inspections, and this transmits back to the back office, and then looks, and if there is no serious issues about the inspection, the license get issued in such a fast way. And this, of course, definitely, if you look into the development of Dubai in terms of real estates and the hotels, this has helped really, solve a problem, which if you consider, like, to issue a license that will take you about a month, 2 months, that is a lot of time, and that now that has been shortened to literally days. I think this was one of my best projects, probably, which I worked in the early days of the e-government.
Your book, you mentioned it earlier, Digital Nation.
Yes.
You're
Right,
talking about the UAE's vision for tech innovation.
right.
How do you see this vision evolving in the next decade, especially with AI and the blockchain technologies coming into play?
Good question, Mark. I think UAE is progressing towards achieving this vision to become really a global leader and a hub for AI activities. The goal, of course, if you look into the UAE AI Strategy 2031, to make the UAE the first in the world in the field of AI investment when it comes to AI investment. That's why you see a lot of investments coming from the government and AI, and from the companies here in the UAE, like G42. And also another goal is to boost government performance using AI. Since then, the country, or Abu Dhabi, has, of course, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed has established a university, Mohammed bin Zayed University in AI, which is now ranked one of the leading universities in the world. I think among the top 18 universities in AI. This is for masters and for PhD. It's producing a lot of IP, and participating in international conferences every now and then, and you see the paper, of course, bringing the best of the best from around the world, and bringing the best students through scholarships that those students get. Definitely, you will get a good work. So this is one thing. Another thing is, of course, building the R&D ecosystem in the UAE for AI. The Technology Innovation Institute in Abu Dhabi, has came up with, large language models and small language models, such as JACE, the Arabic-based natural language processing, and it's called JACE because of a mountain we have here in the UAE in Ras Al Khaimah called JACE. They came up with Falcon, the 180 billion parameters, and different versions of those large language models. Not only that, but the university, also Mohammed bin Zayed University of AI, they have established a foundational department just only to look at the research of large language models. So this shows UAE's commitment when it comes to the development. And we not until probably the last, let's say, 2 years, when these large language models came, we used to say that UAE is importing the technology. Now UAE is exporting the technology, large language models and AI. This is one thing. Of course, the recent announcement between G42 and Microsoft, really to build 2 AI centers in Abu Dhabi, to look at to identify, develop, and advance the best practices in responsible AI in the Middle East and the global South is something really good. So you look into these developments, and you say, yes, I think what we are doing, we are on the right track. We are pushed by the leadership, by the vision of the leadership in the country, and this is good, and also by the willingness of the people, really, because Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, he will not go for less than number one. And he's been known, for being obsessed about. He says, you either be the first or no one will recognize you. And this is good, especially when it comes to the good things, not being first in something in something bad, definitely.
Yes.
But this is the vision, and this is what really carries us forward. As I always say, that when Sheikh Mohammed came up with this number one thing, he made sure to put a system in the country which tracks the UAE ranking across the indices, the global indices, and see how the UAE can improve itself in the global ranking. And every year the government meets, and they look, they revise these indices, they revise the UAE position across those indices, and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed always put a target. Now with the UAE 2031, we the UAE vision, this is the decade vision for this decade. His Highness wants UAE to be among the top 10 countries in different, international indices, and that is good. And that is good. This what makes UAE, progressing, and what makes UAE developing, and what makes people wants to come and live and work in the UAE. I think this is something great.
This is absolutely amazing, and I genuinely don't find the right words to thank you. You have just so many stories, so many things to share. Could we have the honor and the privilege of having you a second time on this show? Because honestly, I'm far, far from having covered what I wanted to talk to you about.
Definitely. I think when I look at the time now, I mean, this is one thing about me. I mean, when I start talking, I don't really notice, the time. But I would love maybe to go for a second talk.
Of course,
I think there are many things that we can cover. I think we're still maybe about halfway through this conversation. But yeah, if we can maybe find another time to do another conversation,
absolutely.
I would love so.
It's amazing, all of your experience. It's amazing how you love your country and you're so proud of it. We would be more than happy to have you a second time. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for conducting this interview, and I hope it was insightful to the audience. And I look for the feedback. Please, you can always reach to me on LinkedIn, and approach me if you have a question, or if you want to share your feedback with me. Thank you.
That's absolutely great. Thank you very much, and we look forward to that. Thank you.